In this video, I'm going to teach you how to get your insurance agent candidates literally to beg to work with your agency. So if you're sick and tired of the mass recruitment strategies where you're doing the begging and you want to turn the tables and get the good agents to beg to work with you, then this video is definitely for you to watch. I'm going to teach you my system and my approach of how to do that, psychologically, what we structure in the onboarding recruiting process, and to get people to desire to work for us, to work through obstacles to work through us, so that you can take the same things we're going to do and teach you and apply them to your business to get better agents who respect your time more and will be more successful because of it. My name is David Duford. I own Insurance Agency Builders. The purpose of this channel is very simple. It's to give the experiences and wisdom I've learned the past 10 plus years of agency building back to you for free. I don't want to recruit you. I don't want to have you join my agency. I have nothing to sell you. It's pretty simple. I just want to give back what I've learned without any sort of expectation and try to help you out the best I can with the good things I've done and the many mistakes I've done so you can do more of the good stuff and less of the bad stuff. Okay, so let's start with how do we get how do we get the agents to beg to join you? Because that is the model that you want. You don't want to do the typical thing, which was what most organizations teach, is talk to anybody with a pulse, walk up to somebody in Walmart while they're, in the, frozen section and then ask them about, have you ever heard of this opportunity and all this nonsense. You don't want to do any of that. It's very demoralizing. It's very frustrating. And the strength of the relationship and how it interacts is not the way that you ultimately want it. You want people coming to you magnetically. In other words, if we think of insurance sales, we don't want to do outbound. We don't want to do inbound. We want people coming to us because they're sold on us to some extent already and they see the value in working with us. So how do we create that process? Well, first of all, you have to have the mentality. You have to change your mind about how recruiting works. It's not a factor of begging anybody with a pulse. It's a matter of qualifying the too many applicants out there to find the cream of the crop that fit your processes of how you bring people on and how you structure your business model. So I call it the velvet rope mentality, right? So you think of a club, you go in at whatever Friday night. I'm not a club person, so I'm kind of making this up as I go, but this is how I'd imagine it. There's a velvet rope, the bouncer's at the front door, you don't get in, you got to wait in line, and you got to pay a higher ticket fee because you're not one of them, the special people that get in right away. So that's what we want to create, because that makes the perception that this is a hot place to be. There's a lot going on. It's exciting. If everybody could just come in at any time, it'd just be just the same as any old bar down the street. So this creates a sense of urgency and appeal and a higher desire. You want the thing you can't immediately have, right? That's true of all human psychology. And putting this process into place in your application interview process is critical. First of all, kind of jumping the horse here a little bit, you got to have an application process, right? What do most agencies do? They take anybody with a pulse, come right in, let me show you this great opportunity. Hey, everybody can sell insurance, right? So nobody can't sell insurance, so everybody's a prospect, which means everybody should be recruited, which is totally asinine. Anybody who says that is at the top of the pyramid, making all the money and just trying to do the law of large numbers on you, right? You want to be particular with who you work with. You want to screen them. You want to qualify them. You want to make them do some things to make sure they've got the stuff to be successful. The way I look at it is that, hey, selling insurance is difficult. You got to go knock on strangers' doors. You got to pick up the phone and talk to people, get screamed at, cursed at, and maybe occasionally make a sale. It's morally debilitating for most people. And I want to do things in the meantime to try to signal to me that there's evidence that this person doesn't have what it takes. And I'd rather find that out soon before I spend hours of time and resources and money training somebody who just is going to have failure to launch. So what we do is have an application process. We qualify in that application. For example, our agency requires agents to buy leads. Our agency is only telesales and face-to-face final expense as new agents. If agents owe money to any insurance company, they can't join. If they have to upload a video of themselves with like an intro interview. If they can't figure out how to use YouTube, how are they going to figure out an e-app? So all of this stuff is intentionally placed so we can put the impetus on the applicant to work through a bunch of, maybe frustrating stuff, even though it's not that bad, but to see if they're going to actually do the first bit of homework. So that's number one. Second of all, we screen them obviously in our application. If they're not professional looking, if they don't look like they've got their act together, like this is a job interview and they're in their pajamas, I'm not going to hire that person. How are they going to perform out there if they're that, disheveled, for a job interview, right? So I'm looking for pretty much any minor thing, because many times it's the little things that add up and that become major things. And the second step of that is to actually do an interview process. And again, it's an interview. It's not us. It's not them interviewing us. It's us interviewing them. And it's like, hey, tell us about yourself. What do you know about our company? Read this script. We have them read a script so we can see how they sound. And if they can take some coaching, we see if they can take some improvements without taking it personally and actually show a measured ability to do better. And all of this is to screen. Are they coachable? Do they look professional on camera when they do the interview? Do they show up on time? I mean, think about how this stuff relates to being successful in anything in life. So this is a mini tryout to join our team. This is what an interview is. But I say all this because this is the velvet rope in action, and you're probably not doing this. And if you don't do this, there's so many consequences that come from this. Number one, you could recruit people who could use and abuse you, write bad business, fraudulent business. Number two, man, and this is probably worse, you're going to recruit a lot of people that probably won't pull the trigger, that'll love the feeling of busyness that comes from learning how to sell, but won't actually take the first step out the door to go see the people or pick up the phone. There's a lot of people that fall into that, and a lot of agencies are mired down in dead weight agents that don't do anything. And it's because they don't have a qualification process to filter the garbage out up front. And they wonder why the business is so frustrating. So the velvet rope process is critical. So number two is you also have to build a brand to position yourself appropriately. So here's the thing. If you're just building an agency based off of a job board, you're in trouble. If you don't have some form of deliberate process to sell them on the opportunity, to sell them on the industry, to sell them on how the benefit is, and how that all connects with working with you, you've got a lot of work to do. And I'll give you an example of this. So in my business, DeFord Insurance Group, I have purposely built a brand. And I wanted my brand to be based around giving away as much valuable information to people as I possibly could. And the reason being is because I knew over the long haul, if I helped people out more than I expected back, a percentage of them would be like, well, dude, if it's this good for free, what's it going to be like working for them, right? And in that process, in and of itself, is building a brand of differentiation compared to the other agencies, which, they all have their secret sauce, or they're showing off their Lambos and planes and all this nonsense, but it has nothing to directly relate to the value that I could provide and the brand that I could give. And it's important to do this stuff because if you don't do it, you just look like another person offering a job, and you're never really going to get the most compelling candidates. So what should you do? When it comes to building your brand, here are the three things you should build your brand around. And this could be done locally, nationally. I use YouTube. You could use Facebook. You could use Instagram or TikTok. You could use, I recommend one particular social platform only to start with. Which one it is up to you. I'm a YouTube guy, so I use YouTube. So you want to build a brand based off of results, lifestyle, and personality, okay? Now, results is probably the least shared element with most of these organizations. When I say results, talking about real people in the agency getting real results. I make an effort every single week to contact my trainer and say, hey, who's writing a lot of business? Let's get them on camera. Let's do a recording, and then let's upload it to YouTube. Because if we can show a preponderance of proof that joining DeFord Insurance Group is the cat's meow, it is the way to go relative to everybody else, I'm just going to get that much more people from it who are going to join and be successful, okay? So sharing results of real people and what we were able to do to help them achieve the goals they had is super important. You should always consistently put out content like that, winners boards, testimonials from happy agents, right? Just a constant air of evidence of success. Number two is lifestyle. Now, this is the one that most agencies do. And I've kind of gone back and forth on this. I'm like conservative. I don't like bragging. I don't like showing off. I got a nice house, but I never show it off. My wife's got a nice car. I got a beat up old truck. A couple months from now, it'll be a little different. Maybe then I'll show off. But anyways, you get the point. Like, I never was comfortable with sharing my personal possessions and this kind of stuff. And I've had some conversations with other agency owners, and And it's all just like everything in life. It's how you do it. Not that the fact of showing off your lifestyle is a negative thing, but it's how you do it in a tasteful manner that works. And I'm kind of still personally working through that. But you really need to show some kind of lifestyle element to this business. So what do I mean by that? You know, like, hey, if I join your agency, I mean, I want to see evidence that the guy who's successful is making good money. I want to see evidence that, you know, what I'm trying to work for has been achieved. And the kind of life, the kind of experiences, those kind of things are things that come with long-term success in the business, because that's what people are ultimately looking for, is happiness, right? They're looking for a wonderful experience, right? And I think sharing lifestyle type content is a very good deal to do. How you do it, of course, ultimately is what's going to differentiate it between the cheeseball stuff like the rented Lambos and the real stuff that shows, you know, like for example, I get to go on a vacation for a full month to Canada and my business runs autonomously. I don't need to babysit it. And if I just show myself doing that and talking about it, that's pretty cool, you know, and I'm making a lot of money in the meantime. Isn't this a cool business? Wouldn't you like to be a part of it, right? So there's a difference in that kind of content. I think you just have to be a little bit more thoughtful. The impact will be the same, but I think even better, because there's a connection between what is shown versus what is, you know, what the benefit is, you know, in a down-to-earth, realistic way. And then the last thing on here is personality. This is another thing, guys. People do business with other people they like and trust, right? You're building likability through sharing results, or trust through results, and probably to an extent, and likability through lifestyle. But I think showing off your personal activities that you enjoy, the things that you do, are also things that you need to share on your brand building efforts. Again, you're going to attract people, and then people are they're more willing to work with you and do what you say if they see that you're a real human being. And you're going to also have people are going to have an affinity towards you that share those experiences. Like, I like to share videos of me weightlifting. I like to share content. I should do more of this. Jiu-jitsu. I'm a purple belt in jiu-jitsu. I love jiu-jitsu. It's all I talk about really when I'm not working out and doing, you know, videos like this and doing work. So, but people that like that, it's like, oh, this guy's cool. You know, does martial arts. You know, it's cool lifestyle, right? And a cool personality. So, and you'll build personality, likability, or affinity anyway when you do any kind of video content. And I can tell you this too, from a content strategy, video is so much superior to written content or image content, like on a non-video platform like Facebook or Instagram. YouTube is just so much more powerful in building a connection with people, because it's like it's the closest thing to being in person and being there, but it's scaled through the moon, because all these people can watch this anywhere in the world. So it's my advice really to anybody is do YouTube first and foremost. Plus, it's the second most popular search engine. Okay, cool. So in short, that's how you get candidates to beg to join. Develop an application interview process to filter out the goons and the bad people and only deal with the best people. Make it hard for them to join your agency. Don't be afraid of vetting them out. And then also build a brand. Be a differentiated agency. Don't just be another boring agency that you can sell insurance. You know, build this around results, lifestyle, and personality. And I promise you, you're going to see a totally different agent who's interested in joining with you, a much more enthusiastic one that is more willing to do what? Be a good soldier and follow your system, because that's ultimately the goal, is getting more agents to do what we teach so that we can see more business written, more people successful, and us make more money. Hope you enjoyed this video. My name is David Duford. Again, insuranceenagencybuilders.com. If you want some free content, some free stuff, just head on over there, put your information in. You'll see what it is. I still have yet to decide. And we'll see you next time. See you.